Hey everyone, welcome to Farang Footprints. Today's story comes from Luca, an Italian traveler who came to Krabi in search of something many of us quietly crave: a pause, a breath, and maybe a chance to feel whole again. Instead, he found something unexpected, a reminder that trust can be rebuilt, and that love sometimes grows in the quietest moments. Under the warm Thai sun, if you've ever carried a broken heart across borders, if you've ever hoped that a new place might heal old wounds, you'll feel this story. Here is his in his own words.
My name is Luca, and when I arrived in Krabi, I wasn't running toward something. I was running away from a life that had grown too loud, too demanding, too full of people who wanted answers I didn't have anymore. My relationship of 6 years had fallen apart. Not in a loud, dramatic way, but in that slow, painful way where two people stop looking at each other before they even notice. I felt empty, and when you feel empty, you start looking for places where emptiness feels normal. For me, that place was Thailand. I booked a one-way ticket to Krabi. No plan, no timeline. Just the hope that the warm air might melt some of the coldness inside me. The flight from Milan to Bangkok felt longer than it really was. Not because of the hours, but because I was carrying a mind that refused to stay still, somewhere over the Middle East. While everyone else slept with their heads pressed awkwardly against the cabin windows, I just stared at the map on the screen in front of me. Watching the small digital airplane crawl across the world, Italy felt like it was shrinking behind me. Not physically, but emotionally, like a place I still cared for, no longer belonged to. When the captain finally announced our descent into Bangkok, a strange sensation washed over me. Not excitement, not fear, something in between. A quiet trembling, as if my past and my future were quietly negotiating who would follow me off the plane. The moment the cabin doors opened, the air hit me, warm, heavy, alive. There is a particular smell in Thai airports, a mix of humidity, metal, cleaning products, jasmine, and fried food drifting in from somewhere you can't see. It's overwhelming at first, but somehow comforting. It was my first breath in Asia, and it felt different. I walked through immigration half asleep, half hypnotized, following lines of travelers who looked as lost as I felt. Backpacks, sunburns, oversized hats, each person searching for something. Freedom, adventure, escape. I wondered which category I belonged to. Maybe none. Or maybe all three. Outside the terminal doors, the heat embraced me like a wall. Taxi drivers called out destinations with musical tones. Families reunited loudly, and the sky was aflat. Humid gray that somehow still felt warmer than anything I had left behind. I'd booked a small guest house in Krabi, nothing fancy. Just a room with a fan, a small balcony, and reviews that mostly said, "Friendly owner." The domestic flight to Krabi was short, but I remember looking out the window and seeing small islands rise from the water like emerald stones. The sea below was unreal, green, blue, turquoise, shifting like an oil painting. And something inside me softened. For the first time since the breakup, the weight in my chest loosened its grip just a little when I stepped out into Krabi's small airport. It felt like I had walked straight into summer. Even the air tasted different, salty, sweet. Like coconut and sea breeze sharing the same breath. My taxi driver, an older man with silver hair and a smile that made his eyes disappear, loaded my suitcase and said, "You come alone?" Thailand take care of people who come alone. I didn't know if he meant it as a promise, a proverb, or just a friendly phrase he said to tourists. But something about the way he said it made me want to believe him. The guest house was simple. A wooden bed frame, crisp sheets, a small fan spinning slowly above my head, and the faint sound of scooters outside. But it felt safe. It felt real. I dropped my bag, stood on the tiny balcony, and for a long moment did nothing but breathe. Warm air, salt, possibility. That was the exact moment. I realized something. I didn't come to Thailand to find myself. I came here to stop feeling lost. And standing on that balcony, it felt like a very good place to start. On my third evening, I found a small beach cafe, the kind with wooden lanterns, soft guitar music, and sand that still holds the heat of the day. That's where I met her, Nari. She wasn't doing anything dramatic, just setting down drinks at a table, laughing with a group of tourists. But something about her laughter felt like it cut through the noise in my head. It was light, real, soft, but strong enough to reach me. She looked at me once, just once, and smiled like she already knew my story without hearing a single word. She walked over. "First time in Krabi?" she asked. I nodded. "Are you traveling alone?" I nodded again, and she smiled. Not the polite smile you give tourists, but something quieter. A smile that said she understood more than I was saying. Sometimes, she said, the heart comes here before the person does. I still don't know if she meant it as a joke or if she somehow sensed everything. I had tried so hard to hide, but that sentence stayed with me. Every evening, I returned to that cafe. Not because I needed food, but because I needed a place where the world felt gentle for a few hours, and every evening. Nari sat down with me for a little longer. We talked about music, about her childhood in Trang, about her dream of opening a small guest house one day, and slowly, without trying, I felt myself breathing again. But hearts that have been hurt don't trust easily. One night I saw her talking to another tourist. Leaning close the way she had leaned close to me, something dark and familiar rose inside me, the old fear, the old jealousy, the voice that whispers, "See, you're not special. You're just another passing face." I almost walked away. I almost let my past ruin my present. But when she noticed me, well, she excused herself from the table and came straight to me. "You think too much," she said softly. "You let your scars speak louder than your heart." I looked away, because she was right. She lifted my chin gently. "Luca, if I talk to people, it's because I work here. But when I talk to you, I talk with my heart." And just like that, the fear eased. Not all at once, but enough. A few evenings after that conversation about feeling lighter, Nari asked me something unexpected. "Luca," she said, while wiping down a table, "have you been to the night market on the hill?" I shook my head. "No," I said. "I thought it was just for tourists." She smiled softly, the kind of smile that told me I had just said something very, very wrong. "No," she replied. "Tourists go because Thais go. Come tomorrow. I show you the real side." So the next evening, we met a little after sunset. When the sky was still glowing in that soft orange way that feels like Thailand's way of whispering "slow down," the night market was alive long before we saw it. You could hear it like a warm heartbeat, the crackle of oil, the buzz of lamps, the shuffle of sandals, children laughing somewhere behind the fruit stalls. The air smelled like everything at once: grilled chicken, sweet mango, incense, frying garlic, and that faint, smoky scent of charcoal that somehow makes you hungrier, no matter how much you've eaten. Nari walked slightly ahead, her hair catching the light from the lanterns overhead. She pointed things out like a guide, but spoke like a friend. "My mother buys her herbs here. Don't buy fish at that stall. Too much ice means old. This lady makes the best sticky rice. Don't tell the others. They will be jealous." Every few steps, someone greeted her. A vendor handing her a mango sample. A grandmother smiling at her like she was family. A boy from the cafe giving her a shy wave. I realized then how woven into this place she was. How many threads in this little market were connected to her. She wasn't just showing me the market. She was showing me her orbit. We stopped at a stall selling grilled banana with coconut cream. She bought two without asking, handed me one, and said, "If you don't like it, pretend you do. It makes her happy." I took a bite. Warm, sweet, soft, better than anything I expected. "I like it," I said. She nodded. "Good. If you lied, she'd know." We wandered deeper into the market, past clothing stalls and cheap souvenirs, till we reached a little alley lined with small wooden tables and flickering candles. Families sat shoulder to shoulder, sharing plates, talking loudly, laughing freely. It felt real. Not the polished version of Thailand that tourists see, but the living, breathing one. The one made of ordinary moments that somehow feel extraordinary because of how honest they are. At one point, a local man approached us, middle-aged, smiling. Holding a tray of handmade bracelets, he looked at me, then at Nari, and without asking, tied a simple brown bracelet around my wrist. "For luck," he said. "For people who walk together?" I looked at Nari, waiting for her reaction. She just lowered her eyes, a small, shy smile appearing. We walked on in silence. A comfortable silence. The kind that says more than words could manage. Near the end of the market, by a stall that sold tiny carved elephants, she finally spoke. "You fit here," she said quietly, like she was admitting something. I didn't respond immediately. Not because I disagreed, but because the truth of that sentence hit me deeper than I expected. I fit here. Somewhere between lanterns, market smoke, and her presence beside me. I actually did. That night, as we walked back toward the beach, I felt something shift inside me. Not dramatic, not loud, just a gentle realization. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't trying to escape anything. I was simply living, and that feeling, simple as it may sound, was the beginning of everything that came next. A week later, she took me to her favorite place, a quiet beach where the sand feels. It's like powder, and the water glows at night with tiny blue lights from plankton. We sat there, bare feet in the warm sand. "I don't know what happens next," I said. "Good," she replied. "Then you're finally living." She rested her head on my shoulder. It felt simple, natural, like something that had been waiting to happen, and for the first time in months, felt whole. I didn't leave after 2 weeks like I planned, or after 2 months I stayed. And not because I was running away anymore, but because I had finally arrived somewhere that felt like home. Today, Nare and I run her dream guest house together, small, quiet, filled with plants, warm light, and the smell of Thai coffee in the morning. And sometimes, when the waves erase our footprints in the sand, she squeezes my hand and says, "Don't worry. Some things don't wash away." And now I know she's right.
Thank you for listening. This was Luca's story, another chapter of Farang Footprints, where every traveler leaves a mark. But only some footprints stay forever. If you've experienced something in Thailand, a moment of joy, fear, love, mystery, or change, and you'd like your story to be told here, feel free to send it to us by email. We'd love to share your footprints with the world.